Hey, hello everybody, welcome to today's stream. Today I have to apologize for my voice. I have a bit of cold, so my throat hurts a little bit. Maybe my voice is going to sound a little bit different, but I apologize for that. But I hope that you will understand me anyway. So let me know if everything is working fine. So the music, my voice, or my current voice. So just let me know if mainly if the music is not too loud. And welcome everybody. Welcome. So let me check in my side that everything is working fine. Yes. Okay, let me put my music a little bit lower and we can start. So welcome, my name is Nacho Riesco. Today I'm gonna work on this jewelry design. My streamings are focused on jewelry designs, so the usage of ZBrush applied for the jewelry design. So today I will follow up with this design I was starting the past week, Tuesday, and as you can see, I switched completely the idea I was started 1 week ago, because okay, before start talking, I have to say welcome to everybody who are sending messages on YouTube, on Twitch. So welcome, Apexter, how you doing? And yeah, thank you very much, Manish. I'm glad to know that you like my work. And yes, Manish, I have changed 100% the design. Yeah, mainly the leg. Let's start talking about it, because I didn't finish very happy with the design, with the previous design. We were making this. So past Tuesday, and maybe the idea is to try to find something more, maybe not so realistic, not so anatomical correct. So maybe when we are creating jewelry design, maybe we need to be behind an idea. So that means that if we have in mind to make an octopus, it's not completely necessary to make an octopus 100% as it is. So I have been trying to find some design improvements, because this for me was maybe too simple. Maybe you like this more, just let me know, write your comments. I would like to know what do you think. And I went from this one, and I was starting making changes right after my previous stream, because as I said before, I was not happy with the results I was sculpting on the past over the past streaming, and I was thinking that would be better to change the design a bit and giving it a little bit more kind of a stylization, or I don't know how to say it, but maybe you know what I mean. Then I went from here. I was starting playing with the clay tubes with this brush. I was not using spheres as on the previous day, so you know that you have this brush where you can start painting curves and tubes. And I started making a different composition, and I arrived till here. And being honest, I like it much more than the previous design. So let me think. That I went from here to here. You can see now that the pearl, we match both pearl sizes. Maybe in terms of jewelry design, in my opinion, this the right one works much better than the left one, because it's more stylized. And in terms of, for example, in weight and manufacturing, maybe it's going to be a little bit more complex, maybe, but not too much. But in terms of weight, maybe this design, the right one, is going to work better. It's going to work better than the left one. It's my opinion. Just let me know if you are not agree with me, but maybe I will take this path anyway. So maybe, so we went from here. Let me show you the progress. Let's say Control N to remove the pixels. We started from here, so then I started sketching here. You can see that the head is smaller. It's not so bold as before, not so big. Now it's a little bit smaller. The tentacles, the flow of the tentacle is completely different. They are much more stylized, and this is the next step that I took here, where you can see here a little differences between this one and this one. Here mainly this one has the head a little bit bigger. The flow of the tentacle remains the same, but I will start today from this point, and I was also playing with ideas that I had in mind, and I was making this sketch. Let me open this. Let me close this folder, you and you. And this is going to be the main idea, where I'm going to set stones all over the tentacles path. We are going to make a pavea on the head, something like this, something similar, and this is going to be the main design. So we are going to have this kind of brooch with the baroque pearl and with the octopus, and we are going to set these rows of stones, and we are going to make a pavea on the head. So for the pavea, we are going to make the stone setting just for rendering purposes, because I'm going to send the model for manufacturing like it is here, completely flat. So then the stone setter is going to set the stone manually instead of make it digitally, because in my opinion it works much better. But in terms of rendering purposes, we're going to make the stone setting process during the streaming. So this is going to be this is the evolution of the design, starting from here, changing our mind. So start polishing the shapes and start developing some ideas. And I decide that I'm going to put stones on the body, not all over the surface, where I'm gonna leave some empty surfaces without the stones. But I like the idea that we have spaces without the stones and spaces with the stones, and maybe we can play with different colors, stone colors or hems colors on the head. So maybe at the end it's going to be a very cool project to make. Let's remove this. So let's open this, you and let's close this. So just send your questions, comments. We'll be glad to help you, to answer your questions. Okay, I'm starting receiving questions, so yeah. No, looks nice. I think, thank you, Manish Shooter. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, but yeah, I'm agree. The now is more stylized in terms of weight and in terms of your design, as I said before. Now I think now it works better. So Charles is asking how the pen is going to be set in the piece. So I have to show you here something about that. So let me see what I'm doing. So if I turn on the Boolean, we're gonna have this. So the set is going to be glued inside of this cavity, and I'm going to add, let me add it now. For example, let's insert here a cylinder, and now grab the cylinder here, and I'm gonna add here a little post or a little pin here on the bottom. So the pearl is going to be drilled here somewhere, and it's going to be fitted here. And most of the time the pearls are glued on the surfaces, and also when with the metal we can push the metal against the pearl to make the fitting a little bit more tightened. So, and that's it. Where do I want? Are we watching the pearl this way? Okay. So, and that's it. You can see if I maybe I am. Oh, it's because it was masked. So you can see this is the portion of the pearl that it's going to be inside. You can see it is not too much surface. Maybe it's less than a quarter of the pearl. That's the idea, not to hide too much information from the pearl. And this is going to be the cavity. So the cavity will be, the pearl will be glued, and will be, I will use also this pin just for safety reason, to try to fit it as safer as possible. Yes, okay. So let's go. So I'm still thinking about which is going to be the assembling process, because the idea that I have now is we have different groups of legs. I'm going to make this leg as a one single piece. This is going to be the group number one, and now I'm going to print and cast all the legs individually. So the legs, it's going to be necessary to be assembled on the head, on inside of the head, and then they are going to be like wires with the final shape, of course. And this is the organization that I made. So that's the reason why I have tried to don't make too much contact points. So the legs is going to be necessary to be assembled one by one, to assemble it, welded, and assembled, welded one by one. And also they can be set it one by one individually, and after could be assembled. Also they are going to be able to be polished one by one. For that we're going to have better results, better finishing on the surfaces, and that's it. And the first idea that I have now, if I turn this on, because I have everything here organized. This is the idea that I have now. So that I have made the head hollow inside. This kind of a bit of, if I turn this off. So with this, of course, this should be opened from the back, and we're gonna put the tentacles here, another tentacle here, and we're gonna have this kind of little window on the back, and they are going to be assembled here, where they're going to be welded here, and then we can put we can close the window, weld the window, and then we're gonna have a shape assembling an invisible welding point inside of the octopus head, and that's the idea. So I'm gonna work with this today. So the assembling process, and maybe we're gonna start creating our stone settings. So as you can see, all of the tentacle hasn't rounded profile. Let's fix this. The curvature is not good enough. This. Let's try to make it as more perfect as possible. So, and I'm gonna check first before I start doing anything. I'm gonna check the weight of the total piece. And of course, I have been trying to make some improvements on the size, because I was worried with the total size. And now it has, let me set the units first. Plugin, scale master, set the scene units. This is the size of the pearl, and now it is around 57 millimeters. I think it's a good size. A good size. 57. This is 56, 57. It's going to be this size, something like this when we are wearing the brooch. So it's going to be a big one, right? But this is not going to be too big, because before it was around 10 millimeters more, and I was playing around with the head of the octopus, with the position of the tentacles, still matching, still trying to be below 16 millimeters. So maybe we are on a good size now. Managing general, we should think by duly making process. Of course, yeah, that is a very important process when we are designing and we are sculpting design. So we should be thinking about not only how beautiful the design is coming along, but we should be worried about the manufacturing process. We should be thinking which is going to be the assembling process, which is going to be how easy or how hard it's going to be to print the design, and how easy or how hard it's going to be to cast and to polish the different pieces. And this is what this is the something that we should have in mind during the sculpting and the designing process. Okay, hi Dennis, welcome. Let's try to make a quick test for the weight. Just having all the necessary subtools visible. So let's go now to Boolean mesh. Is what ZBrush is doing is merge everything together, welding all the meshes, till having only one single mesh. This is what we are looking for, to know how heavy it is, to know the weight. Is this one? So maybe we should be merge this one with this one, merge down. Okay. I don't want to use this yet. Of course, this one is already hollow inside. I'm going to show you how I did this, but before I start talking about it, so let's make a Boolean between, because let's get in here, click on the gear and remesh by union. Of course, as more polygons you are working with, calculating time is going to be higher. So now I'm working almost with 5 million polygons. So let me check if now if we click on auto groups, now we are only working with one group. Okay, and let's see if we use this great plugin called Kiko Metal Quotes. Where are you? Here, and we click here. Now we can, woo, this is very heavy. We are working with a piece of metal of Most of the time the reference number is my reference number is gold yellow 18 carats. Gold, it is almost 50 grams. Oh my god, this is too much. Maybe we are talking about, even if we are talking about silver is more than 30 grams, is maybe too much as well. So we should be start thinking about where we can start removing material as much as possible to make it lighter. Okay, so now it is very heavy. It is very heavy, I think. I don't know why. Maybe because it is. Let me check one thing. If I go here, if I get the weight here, because only the head, it is around 11-12 grams of gold. Even taking this one, that it is already hollow inside, maybe it's going to be necessary to make it much more hollow inside. And maybe the first thing that we can take for removing material is maybe we can start working on the tentacles. Let's grab this one, for example. How heavy is this one? 8 grams of gold. 8 grams, only this little tentacle. How big is this? 31 by 30. Yes. Let me check the measurements. Yeah, it's big. It's big. So if we want to know how thick is this, what I do is I flip the mesh. It's going to be necessary to flip the mesh, and I can take the measurements from the inside. And here I have a thickness of from side to side of 3.1 millimeters. Maybe we can remove a bit of material here on the tip. Here we have 2 millimeters. Maybe the tip is good enough. Maybe here, how big is this? 3 millimeters. Yeah, maybe we can. Let's flip it. Maybe we can make it a little bit hollow, changing the shape. Let's start carving on the surface here, because we are started from this point. Now it is something like this. It has this profile, is this, and let's try to make something like this, to start removing this amount of material, making a kind of cavity here, something like this. With this, we are gonna remove a bit of material for all of each tentacle. Rafi is asking how I am checking the metal weight in ZBrush. You need this plugin. You need to find and download this plugin. It is called KitCode Metal Quotes. If you go to Google or your web browser, you start making a searching of ZBrush plugins. You will find this site. Let's close this. And scrolling down and down. Here you will find a bunch of many different plugins, and it should be here. It's just to download, to follow the installation instructions. You will find on the download file, and that's it. You will be able to check the weights inside of ZBrush during the sculpting process, or you want to know how weight existing piece is, so you should do this. Perfect. Let me check more questions. I will send link of yeah, thank you very much. You are so kind for sharing the video, so I appreciate it. My videos are not easy to find on Pixology. Yeah, they are very easy to find. The only thing that you should do is if you go to the ZBrush, to the Pixologic YouTube channel. Let me show you something. So if you are here, for example, on the YouTube, you are on the, so easy that going to list, I have the words in Spanish, but if you go to the list, and you will find me here somewhere. You're scrolling down, here I am, and if you click in here, you want to watch the whole list, and you will have all my videos here. This is the way that you can find, but I think for any reason they are not all of them. Only way that you can take is you can go to my personal YouTube channel. You can find me under the name Nacho Riesco, and you go to, just scroll down, and here I have my previous live streamings, my personal live streamings, and here I have a compilation of all of the streamings that I do for Pixologic. If I go here, you can start, you go to the list again, and the list, and here, this is my ZBrush live streams, and here you will have all of them gathered in only one site. So from this one was my first one. It was a year ago. All the time passes, and now here you have the full compilation of all of my streamings here, and this is what the latest one stream 6 days ago. And also you can see some of my collaboration with Pixologic about any other kind of streaming, like this one or like this one. So here you will be able to find all of my videos very easily. I will share the link. Okay, perfect, you're right. Puya is asking how he can sculpt tiny details of African hair. It is like it is never washed. Yeah, I did this. Oh, if I, for example, let's grab a head here, demo head. I don't know if this is going to be the kind of hair you're looking for, but I'll show you mine. So let's subdivide 1, 2, 3 times. Let's create a mask only on the hair portion, like this. Invert the mask, and I use surface noise. And instead of working with white color, change from white to black or to dark gray, for example. Let's make it bigger. Like this, and now say okay. And now instead of apply to mesh using this button, use this mask by noise. So you will create a mask based of the noise. And now you can use the gumball or the gizmo and start inflating, applying some inflection, how to say inflection, start inflating the surface. Or you can use this control here under the deformation. You will find the inflate. Now apply some polishing, inflate, polishing, and now you will have the again polish, and there you go, something. And maybe you can add an extra amount of noise. Get into here. Let's come back to the mask noise. Now I don't want to use color. Okay, and now you should use this button, apply to mesh, noise, apply to mesh, one more time, apply to mesh, one more time, apply to mesh. So you will have this kind of hair, short African hair or something similar. Let me know if this is the kind of hair you're looking for, or you're looking for a completely different thing, but you can use the same method. Use the surface noise to start having this kind of randomness on the surface. Where I am. Brain. So let's come back to this tentacle. And let me check your questions. I will start. Thank you. Okay, perfect. I have a video. How do you avoid the stretching on the sides when using 3D projection on surface noise? Yeah, you are. Yes, you are right. So let me explain. The answer about that is you don't want to have a stretch. Stretching effects. So you should create first the UVs before apply the noise to the surface, and that's it. So the conclusion is, because when you are getting into the noise section, noise edit, here you have two buttons, 3D that it is the normal way of projection, and then you have UVs. So now I'm not able to use the UV process because the mesh hasn't UV coordinate. So you should create the UVs first, and then when you start using the noise, you will have this button enabled. So clicking here, you will see that you are going to be able to grab the noise or the image on the 3D surface without any stretchings, and that's it. So when you are using the normal projection is when you are using a camera, a cinema camera over the surface. If the surface is not 100% flat, when the curves start, you're going to have a kind of deformation. That's the reason why you should do first the UV process. With some noises it's not necessary, because for example, if I get into here, noise plug, for example, I use this noise, I want to turn this off. You can see this noise is not able to use any grabbing on any UV. I'm sorry, my throat is not going well when I keep talking many times too much. And this is for this noise is not necessary, but if I change from this one to, for example, to this one, you can see you are projecting the 2D image against the 3D object in this direction. So when the surface becomes curved, so you will have this kind of a stretching effect. So to avoid this, you should do first the UV mapping process, and that's it. Okay, let's come back to the tentacle. And the way that I'm going to do that is because I already have two different polygroups here. Let's select this polygroup and let's start shrinking the mesh. Shrink many times. Let's reduce the amount. Let's go to the subdivision number 3. So let's start shrinking. Let's create the mask. We take the visibility, and now the problem is that this is not going to be very useful. So maybe the best way to do this is start creating manually a mask. You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's grab the mask pen. I'm gonna turn on my lazy mouse. This lazy step to 0. So I'm gonna start masking this. Start fading the mask here. Let's reduce the mask here. Now we can shrink the mask a little bit, blur the mask, invert the mask, and now I can inflate it this way. Let's blur the mask a little bit more. Maybe we go to the lowest subdivision level, not to the third. Let's blur the mask, blur the mask. Let's go to the higher. No, I don't like it. Let's come back here. Let's make something like this. And okay, it's going to be enough. Smooth valleys to start relaxing. And the mask here. And smooth peaks. And some polish by feature touches. Okay, we have this a little bit better. So let's add some touches here at the end. Okay, let's try to do this for all of the tentacles. Let's select this one, repeating the same as before with the mask. Yep, here. There. Let's blur the mask. Blur the mask, and I'm using the Control key with the central yellow square to apply a negative inflate on the surface. If we want to know now what is the distance between the lowest point and the external point, to know that we are not making things too thin or easy to break or is during the printing process, what we can do is flip the mask, and now we can start taking measurements from point to point. Let me select this with the transpose line from point to point. Now we are having 1.8 millimeter, 1.6 millimeter, then it's going to be good enough, I think. Yeah. We are not having problems because remember that we have in mind to set the stones here, so we are going to remove a bit of material on this surface, so we should be sure that we are going to have enough material for the hem stones setting. Let's flip it again. Let's apply some polishing. I'm sorry. Okay. Here we have a problem. I'm sorry. Like this. Okay. Give me a minute. I need to take a little bit more water on my throat, so I come back in a minute. Okay, ready. Are there more questions? Okay. Actually, I was talking about long hair. It's like a rope or something. Yep. You are talking about that. Hola, Cames. ¿Qué tal? Bienvenido. How to fade in mask. Let me rewind on the chat. Okay. How to fade in the masks. You know that when you're using your pen or your Wacom or whatever brand you are using, your tip has pressure sensibility. So when you start painting the mask, you can apply more strength or less strength to your stroke. So when you are applying less strength to your stroke, you are going to be able to fade the stroke. So then you are fading the mask at the same time when you are painting the mask. So that's it. I did it manually. That's the answer. Actually, I was talking about long hair, like a rope or something. Okay, if you are talking about you were talking about braids. I don't know what is the name in English. It's the riggy kind of riggy style hair. Maybe the answer will be better to have a real reference. So maybe the reference can give you the solution. You can use this, for example. Let me try. You're starting from a cylinder. Let's make a polymesh. Let's make it bigger, like this. This is going to be one strand of hair. You can use this brush, curve tube snap, so you can start painting now. Let's make it smaller. You can see the good thing about this brush is it is able to snap the surface. This is the reason why I started using a cylinder. So you can see when you start dragging, you start painting the curve, the tube matches the underneath surface. Okay. So now you're gonna start creating one more here, for example. Let me start painting here, one more here. For example, we are not looking for a perfect distribution. This is the good thing about this process. So it's much better to find a kind of randomness. And that's it. You can do this. Let me try to follow this direction here. As you said, you are right. You were right. Like a rope. So something like this. Let's paint. Let's do one more. Latest. So we don't touch. Yeah, here for example. Pull this line to the bottom like this. Now what you can do now is split let's remove it, and now we have different polygroups. Control Shift Tab here, and the split hidden. Now we can, for example, we can make a copy of this, duplicate. Let's rotate it. So we are having more than one. Let's make it smaller. This one. Let's hide this one. No, let's hide this one. Let's make it this. Let's make it bigger. For example, let's apply some deformation or something like this. Let's merge both pieces together. Let's rotate it a little bit more, or maybe we can rotate it this way, just for having more randomness. Yeah, more or less something like this. Let's make a rotation, something like this. Okay, so let's merge both together, merge down. So now you're gonna start, let's make this thing bigger. So let's polish this. So you can use, instead of using the move brush, you can use this, the bend curve, when you can have control points. Let's add more, this. So now you're gonna start, let's add one more. So you're just gonna start bending the hair you need. Using the move topological brush, you're gonna start managing each piece individually. So you can start working on each one individually. And now once you have in the right position, you can start subdividing the mesh. You can inflate it and repeat the same thing as I did before with the surface noise. Go to the noise, let's go from white to black. Let's make it bigger. Okay, let's apply a mask by noise. We're not having enough polygons. Let's divide 2 times more. And the history, divide and divide and divide. 2 millions. Yeah, noise, mask by noise, inflate, inflate again, polish, and that's it. Ooh, what happened? I did something, because here you can see here at the bottom something, but you can understand the idea. First, you should start creating your base mask with the different strands of hair. Start playing around with the shape of the hair, with the flowing of the hair, and once you are done with that, you can start applying the surface, and that's it. I don't know what I was doing. Let me check. It's going to be necessary to restart the project, the program. Okay, let's launch ZBrush. Yeah, you are right. Dreadlocks. That is the name. Dreadlocks. Hard to remember word. Dreadlocks. Maybe I missed the previous work. Let me check. Quick save files. This one. This one was the latest project. Okay, so let's save this. Okay, let me check it. I thought I was talking about no hair. Hello everyone, I'm glad to see you. You're welcome. Also, when I use alpha in noise, the X, Y, Z angles are not working. Yeah, because when you are using an alpha, when you are using the surface noise, you are referring about these buttons at the bottom. So these buttons only works when you are using the noise block library that you have inside of the NAS block. If you are loading your own alpha, these settings don't work. No. It's a shame. It's a pity, but you can use them. The only way that you can take advantage of this sliders, of these settings, is using the different library, the different noises that you have here on the noise maker library. And that's it. Hola Alfredo, bienvenido. Nunca es tarde. Okay, let's follow working on the different tentacles. We already did 2. So let's start working on this one. So let's lazy mouse 0. I am doing this because I want to remove as more weight as possible. You can see I'm gonna fade the end of the stroke. Come on, like this. No, I am removing part of the mesh. I want to use this. So let's here. I don't like the position of this mesh. Let's just start again. It's much better to put it here closer to this edge. Yeah. Like this. I'm not having good result with the strokes. I don't know why. Blur the mask. Blur the mask. Apply a negative strength. Only another process that you can follow to make this kind of fading. You can store the morph target. You can now apply the deformation now. Remove the mask, and now then you can use the morph brush to start fading the end like this. Morph target, it's a feature that I love, so I use it many times, so it is very useful when you're sculpting. Maybe you can do this. This is going to be one more leg, and then maybe for this is not going to be necessary because this is already very thin, but okay, we can do it anyway. Let's Hey Leonard, I'm fine, and you? Welcome. We can reduce material by join all legs. Do they have support? Yeah, really? You think that we can reduce? Yeah. Yeah. I understand that you are saying that we make a one single piece composed, but all of the legs, then make it hollow inside. Maybe we are going to be able to remove weight from the inside. Yeah, but in terms of manufacturing, I think it's going to be better to keep each leg individually, because they are going to be able to be polished one by one and finished one by one. So at the end, the finishing of the piece is going to be better than if we have all of them as a one single block. So where we're going to have part of the legs polished, some areas unpolished, they're going to be dirty. I don't know. But anyway, it's a big piece. But let's stop here. Just for example, with this one and this one, I'm gonna merge these two together, because for these two I think has sense to make them as a one single piece. So this is the first, this is the second. So let's merge them down together. Merge down. And with them, maybe here you were right, so we can start carving here. So let's store morph target, and I'm gonna use this brush for a form soft brush. Then to start reducing, let's increase the intensity. Let's apply, reduce here the mask here, but doesn't look good. I don't like this. So maybe it's going to be better to cut this. Let's use the clip curve brush. This way. Okay, it's going to be much better. So polish. With this we have removed bit material. Same thing here. It's not too much. all single improvements are always welcome. So maybe with this, okay, looks nice. So let's soften the surface, and now let's see how thin we can do the head. So let's work on the head now. I have made this quick test, so let's start working from the original. That it was solid yet. You can see this is going to be the head piece, and I'm going to reduce the polygons because when I am sending out files from ZBrush to another programs, always it is a good idea to apply a decimation, because if not they are going to be too heavy for them. Let me see if I can improve some shapes first. Let's make this thicker. These endings with a little balls here and there. So okay, so let's make a copy. Let's make a duplicate because we are still making tests, designing tests. So let's create a new folder. This is going to be the head number 3. And let's reduce the polygons. I'm using the default settings, so clicking here on 75K, that means that we are going from 500,000 till 75,000 polygons. So let's start decimating this mesh. Okay, now we can turn this off. Let's go back to this one. Let's export it. I like to export the files in OBJ format when I am sending files to another software. This is going to be the head number 3, and I use now Mesh Mixer to start creating things hollow inside. ADB. Yeah, it's a good luck, man. And import, let's say, and here we have the head. Edit, hollow. We're gonna make it 0.6 millimeter offset. 0.7, I'm sorry, 0.7 millimeter. Solid accuracies, mass density, like this. Let's update the hollow. So I love to use this just for having more control over the offset between the external wall and the internal wall. I know that when you are creating figures, resin figures, or even if you are working with silver, the precision of the offset is not so important, but when you are looking for a precise uniform offset, so it's, my opinion, it's much better to use this. You can make things hollow inside of ZBrush as well, but I have more controls about the offset here. So this is what we have. You can see here, this is the internal shell and the external shell. So accept and export. File, export. Yeah, I think I agree with you about this, because you were saying joining all the legs and make it thinner, because now they are this thick from here. Maybe we join all of them together, we can join them and we can make it this big. But as I said before, in terms of finishing of the final piece, is going to be much better when we are looking at the piece and we can see that all of the legs are individual pieces instead of having all of them merged together into one single block. So then maybe we're gonna try. Let's try to keep this idea. Let's see how far we can go with it. So now we can use this and import the mesh we did, mesh mixer, and now we can split to parts. So now here we have, this is the head and this is the offset. As we are watching the mesh from the inside, that's the reason why we are watching the mesh with this kind of weird effect. So it's necessary to flip the mesh. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a mask here. Trying to stay closer to the border. Let's reduce the focal shift. You don't have to be worried about to paint a perfect mask, because after we can change it. Let's create this way, this thing here. I'm gonna create another mask here. I have a problem with this shape. It's not completely okay, but no problem. Let's see what we can do. Another mask here. This I am painting mask because I'm gonna create an extraction to use the mesh for the openings. So like this, let's create an extract now. Extract and extract, except this is what I'm having. Let's hide the tentacles. Now this is the negative shape. Offset should be at the bottom of the list. I should turn this on. The negative icon, this should be underneath this one, negative. And now turn on the booleans, and this is what we are having. And the good thing about the live boolean system, let's apply some polish by feature. As I said before, we can start moving around this. I did something wrong. Yeah, I did something wrong. I did something wrong. I'm sorry, I did, because I missed to make something. I need to use this one. Ah, my bad. Because I should send or hollowing with the cavity of the part itself with this. And also I'm going to try to improve this shape as well before repeating the same thing as before, because I forgot to use the curve. Maybe it's going to be a good idea to use the Sculpting Pro here. Let's try to make this more regular. Like this, like this. Okay. So let's create a Boolean here, make Boolean folder. And this is going to be the right shape for the hollowing. 75 case. Export again. I'm gonna try to make this quick, so don't waste too much time. 3. Let's come back to here again. Import, replace. Number 3. Hollow. 0.7. Again, let's increase the solid accuracy and the mass density a little bit. Let's make things hollow. Okay, let me read our question while we are waiting for the hollowed piece. Okay, the same with manage. I know the same better than you, but it depends. It depends. I try to do my best always. That's it. I just think, can we join all this from the starting point and end point, go different angles? I don't know what we mean. Can we join all legs from a starting point? Yeah, but I think, I'm not sure if I understand you, but it's the idea of having all the legs into one single piece. But I think this is still a good to add value to the design for having all the legs as individual pieces. Of course, they are going to be necessary to being assembled, but I think at the end it's going to be, it will work, I think. Kind of see your clay build-up settings. I use the default clay build-up brush, but without the alpha. You know, by default the alpha it is this square alpha, and I tend to remove the alpha when I'm using this brush, and that's it. I don't touch anything else. I just use the default setting without the alpha. Mr. Stringing, I don't know, what do you want to know? You can find Mr. Stringing any suggestion for my problem. About what problem are you talking? What is the max mixer from? I use the max mixer just for make things hollow inside, where you can say to the software, I want to create the millimeters offset, and you will have a very precise, like this. Maybe I did something wrong here. So 0.7 update hollow. And the music is a bit high. Thank you. Thank you. So reduce the volume. Let me know if now it's better. I'm still looking for the right volume for the music. I never knows. Play it again. Customer really don't get it. Daniel. It's not too late, but bienvenido, Daniel. Welcome. All of you, you know that you can rewatch the stream again. It will be available at the Pixologic website. Maybe I did something wrong here. Click on accept. Export. I think I made something wrong. Let me check inside of ZBrush. You can see I only use Mixer for pressing 2 buttons, and that's it. So let's import the split to part. Flip. No, I think it looks okay. Because I already have this. I don't need this one. And now this is the negative form, should be here. All of them visible, not you. Negative. And then positive. And this is what we have. Okay. This is starting looking good. I have to hide this one. I don't want to use this one. And of YouTube, I need to remove this. Hide, delete. It is opening at the bottom. We'll use the move for us to start tricking. Opening on the bottom. Like this. And on the top, if I use the negative form, I can start painting a mask here. Let's review the lazy mouse videos. And extract the mask now. Extract, accept. And this is a negative. Okay, now I have openings at the end and at the bottom. And let's check now how many grams we gonna be able to remove. doing this. Okay, something like this. Something like this. Let's see if the opening works for the tentacles. It should work. Maybe here need more space. This is the good thing about the live Boolean, because you can render the Boolean without making any calculation. So let's it's going to be necessary to put this here, and now it should be here to avoid the contact there. Yeah, and here it should be here, and this should be here. And the head maybe seem to be this thick, and here it is this. So let's apply some polishing. Okay, let's hide the tentacles. Maybe it's going to be, because here we have this kind of non-regular form, but we can use the Sculpting Pro to remove this and this to make the opening more uniform, like this, like this, like this. Like this. Okay, I think it's going to be enough. This, like this, this, and maybe here this problem I'm having here maybe comes from here. Okay, yeah, comes from here. Let's remove this. Yeah, now much better. Like this. It is hollow inside. Factor, in my opinion, what would be the maximum weight for a brooch? Depends on the kind of brooch, but I think when you are having in your head a piece of 30 grams, you feel that it is heavy when you are having this piece of 30 grams. This is my reference. I try to stay as a heavy piece, try to stay always below 30 grams. Of course, 30 grams is the maximum. Try to stay between 20 grams, 22 maybe, and even with such amount of weight, it's a heavy piece. But when you're wearing a brooch, maybe try to stay between 15 and 25 grams, no more, maybe. For example, when you are wearing a very big ring, well, for example, a very skull ring with very ball, very heavy, solid inside, 30 grams, you feel the weight on your hand, depending on the size of your hand, of course. But maybe 30 grams, it's a good reference. It's a good reference. So okay, let's see how it works. The tentacles here. Okay, you can see we are having enough space for the tentacles. Maybe here we're having a problem here. Of course, the tentacles can be tweaked a little bit more if necessary, but here you can see in the opening on the mouth or at the bottom of the head, it's enough. It should be push this a little bit more away. Let's follow working on this. Okay, so now we can say that this is the negative form I'm using for making the booleans. You can see here. Of course, this part of the, we should be sure that we're going to have enough metal here for set the stones on the eyes. We set 0.7 millimeter. That means that it is not going to be enough metal here, so I should push this away a little bit more. Use the Sculpting Pro, because here around the eyes we are going to need more material, more metal for the stone setting. 0.7 millimeter is not enough. As minimum, we are going to need at least 1 millimeter thickness. So that means that we're gonna need there more density there. I'm gonna remove this. Make this edges a little bit more rounded. This, okay, let's see how weight is this now. Let me check. Let's say this first. And let's make the Boolean here. Boolean folder. And this is what we have. We can, it is, let's reduce, let's decimate it. And we can now fix some parts, for example, here. You can see that I am using smooth bodies and smooth peaks, a combination of both smooth brushes. Like this. This is going to be one piece, and this. I still don't like too much some things, but okay, let's keep going. So I'm gonna reduce this. Let's fix this shape. Let's see how wet is this now. Simple again. Kitco, where are you? And yeah, it sounds much better. So only the head has less than 8 grams. Looking good. Only the head. So we are going on the right way, I think. So only the head has 8 grams, so it's going to be good enough. So let's create the opening on the back for the soldering window for the tentacles. And let's close this. Let's create one more folder. There's going to be the head number 4. And for example, here we can use a cube, insert cube. We can use the cube as a negative shape to make the opening. Let's hide the tentacles. And now let's start in changing the shape of the cube, following these necessary shapes, something like this. Yes, it's okay. This is what we are having. Let's apply more resolution. This is going to be the opening on the back. Yeah, well, the folder is a very good way for organization. Yeah, and I want to know how thin is this. If I need to know if I am going too close to the border, so we are having here a very small amount of material. Here we are having 1 millimeter. Here we are having 1.2, 1.8. So maybe it's going to be better to fix this a little bit more. For having, don't stay too close to the border. And we can push this a little bit more to the left to make a bigger window. As big it will be, I think it's going to be better for the manipulation when the person is soldering things like this. Going to be okay, and we're gonna be able to see the tentacles. So, and the tentacles, I think it's going to be necessary to apply a kind of surface plate, or I don't know. So here, like this, so the tentacles will end here, this here and here, and we can put small pins here for assembling. Maybe maybe I should be still thinking about it, but this is the idea. So let's try to put this kind of plate for the assembling, for make the welding easier to make. Okay,
don't be afraid to borrow.
So let's go to tentacles, and now I'm going to show you the way that I have the recipe I'm going to need to make for creating the cover, or the door, the cover, or the piece of metal that is going to be necessary to put here to close the gap. It's so easy than changing the icon. So let's create first this Boolean folder.
And that's one of the reasons why I can churn stuff out, is because I don't have a problem with reusing or
should
borrowing
be
something
at
that
the
I
end.
heard.
Okay. This is the final Boolean, and now I'm gonna turn this on, turn this off, and change the icon from negative to intersection. And now let's create the Boolean. And now we have here the necessary piece.
Or creative. I can't make up a new thing.
I'll show you. You can see.
And I very much doubt
you can see here. This is the.
I listen to were the first ones to think of a particular progression. So once you get over that,
it's so easy to change the icon. That's it.
Just borrow.
Yeah, it's a good point. The screw, using screws instead of welding points. Yeah, it's a good point. Good idea. Maybe we can start thinking about that. But the problem maybe is that we are gonna have.
No one knows. The new generation.
We are going to have
The older generation pretends.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's kind of controversial.
Is it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Obviously,
Yeah, they're not too much.
chords.
5.
melodies. There's only so many different
Five.
things you can do.
Yeah, you don't want to
5 tentacles. 5 screws. 5 screw holes. I don't know. Maybe they can be screwed inside, but for that it's going to be necessary to invent or to create a system
Also be respectful, like leave them
where
like a little note
the tentacle should be screwed in.
for what you've done.
I don't know, but it's a good idea. Start using, for example, if I select this one, if I go to the tentacles folder, I already have here a cube. Oh no, it's not this one. I'm gonna insert the cube.
If you listen enough,
Let's squeeze it a
you
little
start
bit,
to pick up on the enormous amount
because I'm gonna use this as for knowing how
progression over and over and
depth
over again.
the tentacles will
The
be
same artist
inside of the head. Now I am seeing that the tentacles at the end are very thick. Maybe it's going to be possible to remove more material.
have a lot of
And
different chord
for
progressions
example,
in mind.
grabbing
Know
this
that,
one,
you know what? If I do
I
this
can
and do this,
put this
it'll sound new enough.
a little bit more together. I'm gonna change the song because the guy is talking at the same time like me. So okay, now better. Let's turn on the lights. Can we screw the legs? Yeah, good. Thank you. And now I should be merging this together. Yeah, I can see that this should be more here. Maybe with that kind of angle. But yeah, well, maybe I should start thinking about systems where we will be able to screw the tentacles instead of welding them. So yeah, something like this. And I see that I can make this thinner. Oops, no, H polish brush. Like this, to make it more thinner. If we want to know how thick is this, same as before. Here we are having 2mm thick, so we can remove material if necessary. So let's go with this one because it looks very thick. Let's smooth this. Maybe we can make it thinner at the end. I use the pinch brush to make things thinner. Like this. Now it looks better. maybe we can do this one thinner as well. It is now 2.5 millimeters, so we can make it thinner. The end. And this one is looks thick. We can make it thinner. We can remove with the material here, like this. Okay, let's select this one. Let's make it thinner from this view. Okay, you can see we are starting creating good results. Here we go. I have a kind of a mess here with different topologies because I was using Sculpting Pro. Maybe let's see, if I use the smooth groups, I'm gonna reduce the density of the mask, going to one of the lowest. Let's create a mask here. Not that much. Let's blur the mask first. Something more or less like this. Yes, that's the idea. The time, because if you have this, the octopus suction holes, is the suckers. The idea is start having something like this. This is mainly the rough distribution I made for the stone setting. So we're gonna put the stones all over the tentacles path in this way, which are facing to the front, and we're gonna create a pave here, not covering the whole head, leaving some blank spaces to apply a kind of octopus skin texture. And here on the eyes, we're gonna apply two marquise stones here on the eyes. And this is the idea of the distribution of the stones. This is the rough idea that I have in mind. So I will send this to the stone setter to start setting. And now, as I said before at the beginning of the streaming, just for rendering purposes, we're going to create a stone setting here to create a cool render as closer as possible to the physical piece. And this is, I forgot to mention this is a reference of the needle of the brooch. So it has, as I remember, it is 35 millimeters long, and it will has this connection system. Let me show you. This works like a hinge, when you can start moving the needle from up to down, and this is the connection system when you can put the needle inside and turn it to the one side to keep the needle safe inside. And this is going to be the system. So this one piece of this will be soldered here, and the end piece, I think, will be soldered here somewhere at this point of the bottom of this tentacle. You can see it. Maybe I like to use this reference because now we can see it from the front. but not too much, but we can have enough room to play with the angle. Maybe it could be here, and it will be hidden enough, I think. It's just for now that we are having enough space. Now it is 30 millimeters long, little, yeah, 33. So we are having enough space for putting long enough needle. Okay. Okay, what we can do with this, it is this. It has this shape. I'm gonna group by normals and change the topology. Series measure. I want to create a double and keep the groups. Adapt the size to 0. And now I can use the bend arc. Maybe it will be better. It has this kind of shape, so I can push it down to here, even changing the angle. And knowing, I think the head still need, for example, here. Oops. Also for the stone setting, I will need to revise a bit. For example, if I flip now the mesh here, we can take rough measurements here from point to point, from the external wall till the internal wall, and here we have 1.5 millimeter thickness. Yeah, 1.8. This, and we should know that as the idea was to start setting stones on the surface. So if I, for example, let's start creating an example. Let's create this hand brush that I have. The way that we have to control the stone sizes is the IMM draw size plugin. Let's try how it works. 1 millimeter stones, for example, one set here. And now when you start dragging, you press the Ctrl key, so you will block the stone size to the desired measurements. So now it's going to be necessary to set the stone more inside, a little bit more. It will be a little bit more like this. Okay, so Control. So we're gonna have there is stones. Let's put here one split mask points, and where's the head? The head is here. Okay. And now if I flip, you can see that the stones, it's enough far away from the back surface, so the stone setter is going to have enough material to cut out the necessary amount of metal to put the M inside. So we should know that we are working with the right wall thickness to avoid problems with the stone settings. Let's flip it again, but I think it is good enough at this point. The same with the tentacles. The same thing with the tentacles. I think with the tentacles, maybe we can remove more material here. this is not perfect. Okay, something like this. Cool tip or trick to start, for example, to start carving narrow spaces is to a morph target. I'm gonna use this brush. No, not this one. This one, clay build up without the alpha, with a low density. And now we can start carving here without any being worried about how close we are to the border, because we have the previous shape stored in memory with the morph target, so we can now use the morph brush, and now we can, let's reduce the intensity. We can recover the lip. We have, for example, ending is going to be solid, and that's it. Smooth bodies a little bit. Morph like this. So don't forget to use the morph brush in the morph project system, like this. The same thing here. Store. I already have a store, a morph target already stored. So if we go to the morph target menu, delete the existing morph target and store the new one. Let's repeat the same as before. So let's start carving on the surface. This. And now let's use the morph brush again to start fixing the borders. Something like this. Smooth peaks, some smooth peaks, some smooth bodies touches, and same thing here. Also, we can create some kind of cool things, because when we are looking for the perfection, we can do this kind of texture if we want. For example, on the back, things looks nice, but this time I'm not going to use this texture. Something like this. Apply some polishing. Final touch. Maybe you can remove the same thing here. Store morph target. Clay build up. And let's reduce here. This and page polish flat. Okay, so let's see how, let's check out the weight again. Let's save this first. Let's make the boolean for the head. We already did it, right? So I already had this. Okay, the head now is sorry, not this one. Git go metal quotes. It's around 7.3 grams about. So we can say that the head is 7.3 grams. And let's see what happens with the legs. Let's make a boolean for all of the legs together. Let's make a boolean folder here. Thank you, Fexter. Glad you like it. Glad you like it. We are always looking for classy things. Okay, this is the, I need to get rid of this part. Hide, delete hidden. I think it's not going to be realistic if I take the weight from this. Let's check it out. So let's, yeah, it's saying it's not a watertight. When you're having this message, try to close holes, and now it's done. So 27.6.5. Let's say 27.5 grams for the legs. But if we go one by one, let's see. This is 5.3. This one is 6. Let's say 6.4. This one is 5.4. This one is 4.6. And this one is, we still need to remove the tips, but it's not too much, but it's not going to be a big change in the final weight. But here, this is 7.3. 7.3. Why so heavy, this one? 7.3. Maybe this is the biggest one. Oh, I need to check this in terms of, this is the heaviest. I don't know why. I will check it out later. So 7.3. So now we have Now we have 5.3, 6.4, 6.4, 5.4, 4.6, 7.3. Yeah, it's okay. So maybe the conclusion is maybe I will need to try to improve the weight of this one and this one to try. Let's see, the average could be, if I use now plus 7.3, 36 grams we are a bit over the target, so we should reduce the weight mainly from the legs, from this one, and maybe this both, to make them thinner, a little bit more thinner. Okay, it's time for keep working on the legs. So we said that this one is the heaviest, right? This one is 7.3 grams, only this leg. Okay, because we should remove only this portion. If I remove this portion, let's see how weight it is. If I use this the knife curve brush, if I remove this, okay, I'm working with subdivision levels, so delete lower. Now it is 7.6.7. Not too much, because we should be stay around 5 grams for each leg, right? Around, try to stay below 5 grams, but the target should be 5 grams for each leg, right? So let's keep carving on the surface. Let's see how thick is this. Let's grab, not you, let's select rectangle, grabbing this, double. Maybe here we're gonna have enough material. From here to here we have 2.5 millimeters. 2.5 millimeters. Maybe I'm going to need to reduce. What we can do, the first thing that comes to my mind is to start trying to create something like this, to push this into this direction, to try to remove this amount of the material. Say, again, I have a question: how you make block out from concept? The concept is complex. What is your approach? I really struggle with managing silhouette and form, like nothing goes right in my case. Good question. There are many ways to start blocking out a design. I was making the other day, I started from spheres. Of course, the silhouette that you mentioned, it's a very important thing. You know that if I go to preferences, I turn on the thumbnail. Now you can see here your silhouette. So this is a very good to have in front of you when you are designing something, because it's a good way for checking the silhouette of the thing that you are creating. For example, if I start from trying to answer your question, for example, if let's hide this. So we already have the head, and you can start the blocking process. The blockout process is kind of a sketching kind of process. When you are making lines, you like it, you don't like it. So you don't like it, you remove it, you start making a new one. So it's the best way, I think, in my opinion, to find a quick way of working. I recommend to you in this case to, when you start, or what you need is to start creating curves and curls and this kind of forms. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, you have this brush, any of the curve multi-tube brushes. We have this one, and we already have another one that's similar. Let me check. So B and C from curve, curve flat, curve multi-tubes, okay, and curve tube brush. So I use this one. For example, you start painting your first tentacle. Okay, ZBrush is saying to me that the mesh is composed by blah blah blah. So let's select this one. So let's start creating it. So and then you can start. For example, the first tentacle goes from here to here. Split match points, and now you start making the tentacle bigger, smaller, thicker, thinner, so you can make a copy, control drag to start making a copy. Just start creating a composition, so push it to the back, and now start moving around the shape like this. So you are seeing how it works on the, so you can add, copy and paste a new one. You can put it here at the bottom. Oops. So you can change the shape. I like to turn on the topological form because it gets me more freedom to don't touch that I don't want to touch. So with this you can start creating your sketch. Once you are start feeling that you are going into the right direction, you can start polishing and working on more detail parts of the tentacles or of the design, and this is the process. So that's it. The struggle with managing silhouette. In some cases, it's a matter of time. When you, for example, you can be the whole day and you don't find anything useful, and you start tomorrow. At the first time, you find what you are looking for. So the conclusion is, don't give up. So keep going and keep going. Start making more progress, more drawings, more sketches, till having the design that you like. So that's the key, I think, in my opinion. Some legs hidden behind some legs. Can we get material from hide legs? No, because let's turn off. Let's undo this. Let's remove this. Let's turn on tentacles. Yeah, tentacle, this one tentacle. I think the way that they work as from the side, that they works like it has different layers of tentacles, different levels. And for example, what you can do, what you suggest, for example, we can is to do something like this. Let me see if I understand you well. For example, if I grab this one, could be a good idea what you are saying. Let's create a duplicate of this one. Let's duplicate this one. Let's hide the original. Let's delete the subdivision levels. And for example, let's get rid of this part. Delete hidden, close holes. And then we can find a way to attach this tentacle to this tentacle, right? You're right. So you are putting, we can put a screw here. Let's try to put it straight. And a screw or a welding pin there. So we can see it on the back, but we can't see it on the front. But this is could be the only case that could work. But it's a good idea. It's a very good idea. Maybe. Yeah. Because here, in this case, we can see the full length. And here we can see the full length as well. It could be, can work, I think, on that. Let me make this thicker. Maybe we can try a combination of both ideas. We'll start carving a little bit more on the tentacles to make them thinner, or at least as more as possible. And we can do this, because here in this one goes behind this one, and this one goes behind this one. Yeah, we can take a thinking about that. Okay, yeah, we can go. For example, here if I go here, we went from, this is the original. This one is this one is 5 grams, around 5 grams, and now with this new idea we have the half, so we are removing 2.3 grams of material. So this case could be a good option. And this portion of this tentacle is not going to be very important because it won't have any stones. So it's just for filling this gap that we have here, this covering this empty space that we have here. Yeah, you had a very good idea. Yeah, I'm gonna use it. Thank you very much. What about the topology of that cylinder? When I move, I make the cylinder googly. Are you referring to the? Oh yeah, you were referring to this. Yes, you are referring to this about what I was talking about before. So let's see this one. If I hide this, for example, when you are talking about the cylinder, you are talking about this tube, right? You are talking about this tube, and then when you start making changes like this, you can say it becomes, you said before, googly, or not uniform, but don't worry about that. So handle it with caution, carefully, and at any time what you can do is start polishing the surface using the polish method. So for example, I can change the shape. The brush size is very important. Depending on the portion of the mesh that you want to move, try to make the brush size as big as possible. So for example, if I'm only looking for changing the length of the end, so it's going to be necessary to have this big, and now I make it smaller just for fixing the tip like this, small touches and more polishings. You can feel that the tentacle becomes thinner, but you can inflate it again, polish, inflate, and then you start getting a more uniform and perfect form. That's it. At some point, it's going to be necessary to remesh, to change the topology. Once you have the right composition, what you can do is go to ZBrush. I recommend you to set up the dotted size from 50 to 0, because you will get more regular quads. And now let's say we are looking for same amount of polygons. So the polishing effect is going to be different depending on the topology. So now you can see we can keep working and still having, for example, some kind of not perfect thing. Polishing, small touches, polishing, inflate to retake the previous thickness, and that's it. I use a lot the polish controls, the sliders. Most that I use are polish and polish by feature. Yeah, yeah, you have very good ideas. Yeah, design with manage. Yeah, you know, I can feel, I can recognize that the way that your mind works matches my mind, because you are used to work with UL design, so you are always looking for design things with sense instead of in terms of manufacturing or saving money or on time. Okay. Perfect. So maybe we are done for today. So we had many things today, or we have been talking about many different things. And I'm gonna leave the design here. Let's delete this one. Let's save this as it is. Okay, it's saved. Okay, I'm almost in the dark. I forgot to turn on the other light. Better like this. Okay, so we are done for today. I don't know when is going to be the next session. Hopefully, maybe because we have our Eastern holidays here in Spain now. Not the next week, but the week after the next week. So I will try to follow making my next streamings in April. That means that the next week I'm not going to be here with you. So we will follow with this guy in April with all of you. I hope so. So thank you very much. Yeah, it is not a matter of working with me, because I only work for a small amount of customers, so my volume of work is not that big for start recruiting or needing more people. But anyway, thank you very much for your offer. Zero message is very helpful. Perfect, Leonard, you're welcome. And of course, right, we are done. So thank you very much for being here watching my stream. Hopefully I will see you here again with more streamings about ZBrush and Julie next month in April. And you want to visit my job and check out what I'm doing, you're having this at the bottom of my image, when you can go to my link tree side. There you will find, I want to show you what I'm talking about. You will get this. You go to here, Linktree / Nacho Riesco. Here you will have a compilation of all of my sites. So just clicking on my website, you will take to my website, or to my ArtStation, or to my Instagram. So you will have the possibility of stay in contact with me and stay tuned about my latest progress. So again, thank you very much for all of you. I will see you here next month. Take care, have a good weekend, good week, everything. So take care, bye, thank you.